I just want to go to bed. I just want to go to bed. I've had enough of this. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Dillard, bringing you guys another podcast. This is the Yankee Way podcast. Hope all of you are having a wonderful night or day, depending on where you're at in the world so far. I am here with my co-host, Mr. John. How are you doing, my good sir?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm getting ready for the Field of Dreams game tomorrow, so I'm excited. I mean, I love the movie, so I'm excited to see them play.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish it was under better circumstances. Honestly, if you told me that come the Field of Dreams game that we're going to be starting with Andrew Heaney, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have told you because it just feels like I'm in a nightmare.
I will say the redeeming quality about that, if there is a redeeming quality, I can give you one, is the fact that Andrew Heaney is the reason why the Yankees were able to scrap one of the games from the Mariners. He kept them in that game.
He pitched really well after that inning. Unfortunately, that was against the Mariners, and we're facing a team that's a little bit better than the Mariners.
Here's the thing, though. White Sox have lost series to the Royals before, and they just lost a series to the Twins. They're coming off a loss right now. So that's the one thing the Yankees have going with them.
That's true, but both of these teams are undefeated in Iowa. So, I mean, I can't tell you that it's going to be great.
That is a stat that I did not expect to hear from you, but it is true.
They undefeated in Iowa. Both of them are undefeated in Iowa this year, and also a couple years previously as well.
So I guess that's the real question we should start off before we go into the last 5 series and the craziest game of the year so far is that how many home runs are going into the cornfields?
More than I wish to admit. I don't think we're going to hit many of them off of Lance Lynn. I mean, guy's a freak for some reason. Ever since he left us, he's been a freak, man.
Now, here's the thing. I noticed that they're not having Rodon because he has arm soreness. He's on the 10-day IL. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people were freaking out about it, and I don't know if this is crazy or not, but I would honestly rather face Lynn with the performance, with the kind of year that Rodon's been having. I mean, Rodon right now is on a pace for a Cy Young.
With this team, I can see Rodon. Like, we beat him last time, I think, because of a bunch of unforced errors. Mm-hmm. But, if Rodon pitched against us tomorrow, he's going to strike out, 19 en route to, a complete game shutout. I don't see us winning against him. I'm sorry. We have so many people who just, sit dead red, and he's just I have a great curveball. Here you go. We're not going to hit that. There's no chance. It's just not feeling good about that. But fortunately, we don't got to worry about that.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that because I remember specifically Rodon had 9 strikeouts against the Yankees, and they didn't win the game because the White Sox offense was completely
they got
just
shut
on
down.
vacation. They were on vacation to Cancun. They were nowhere to be sighted.
Their minds were in other areas. Yeah, they didn't do anything. That was the series they scored 2 runs against us. I thought, or something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It took them to the 3rd game to score any runs, I think it was. They got swept. And that was the game where... Wasn't that the game Judge walked off on the walk, I think?
Yeah, to Liam Hendricks.
Liam Hendricks wanted nothing to do with it.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was also one of the series where the Yankees had one of their 3 triple plays. That, the Oakland series, and then the Blue Jays series.
Shades of the wild card game. Liam Hendricks had a flashback and was just I don't want to throw this guy another fastball again.
All right,
he came out and was thinking it was oh god.
All right, so let's just talk about the 5 series in general. So the Yankees, they're on a roll right now. Last 5 series, they've won the series against the Rays, the Marlins, swept the Marlins, beat the Orioles, beat the Mariners, and then beat the Royals. I understand that the Royals aren't that great, Orioles aren't that great, Marlins aren't that great, Mariners kind of if in there, but Mariners, they're an interesting team. Their performance that they're having on the field and the lineups that they're putting on paper do not reflect how actually talented they are. Now, I think the Mariners could be a pretty interesting team to look at in the next 2-3 years or so. I think they have a promising future, but the Mariners is definitely a team that, you have to go out and beat, and the Yankees have done that. They did it with the Royals, did it with the Orioles, did it with the Marlins, and even better, they went out and won 2 out of 3 against the Rays at the Trop, and even better than that, they've won a season series in the Trop against the Rays, which is, I cannot remember the last time that's happened.
First time in a decade we've done that.
Mm-hmm. So overall, give me your thoughts and opinions on just how well the Yankees are playing, considering also there are a ridiculous amount of people on the IL with either COVID symptoms or other related injuries.
You know, my favorite part about this whole series thing has been is that after the Yankees swept the Marlins, everyone was just like, "We did it! We swept the Marlins. We're so good. We're back." And then some fan calls in the radio station and is just like, "Oh, come on now. The no big deal. The Yankees beat the Marlins. You know, they're terrible." And then the Mets come in to play the Marlins and just get destroyed. And I'm like, "Really? The only reason they won the game is because of like 3 errors on the pitcher." I'm like, "Oh my god. It's so funny and so it was this instant karma." It's like, "Oh man, that's funny."
And
But yeah, well,
that was
I just thought that was funny. I really enjoyed that part. I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty funny. You're right."
that was a brutal series in general for the Mets. Like
Sheesh.
bad, very bad.
Yeah, they want to forget that one. Unfortunately, the next series wasn't enough for them. Anyway, I mean, I really wish we could have swept the Orioles. I really wish. Unfortunately, we decided to run into Cy Young Award-winning Lopez that day.
Mm-hmm.
Winning 2 out of every 3 games is a great way to go about your season. I mean, nothing wrong with that. If you win 2 out of 3 in every series, that's a pretty good record. I mean, if you win 2 out of every 3 baseball games you play, that's like a record in terms of wins, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, everybody wants to sweep series. Obviously, that's just not the way baseball works. You're going to lose one every now and then. You're going to run into a pitcher who's hot. You're going to have a bad day. It happens. But, I mean, considering the fact that basically we have taken our last man on the 40 today, Oswald Peraza, and put him on the taxi squad, there's no more depth. Considering that, I think that we've done fantastic considering the situation that we're in right now. I mean, if you told me that we're going to be sitting here with having Andrew Heaney start a game, I'm going back to this again. Andrew Heaney is starting a game for us. You've got Lucas Lidge with his first career start in a decade, and you've got like basically relying on Nestor Cortez, a guy who last season everyone wanted to jettison into the Hudson River. I mean, considering all those things, I think that we've done fantastic, and we can't like ask for anything more. I mean, that's how many wins did we have? It's 3 against the Marlins, 2 against the Orioles, and then 2 against the Royals, and then 2 against the Rays.
3 against the Mariners, and then 2 against the Rays. Yeah.
No, 2 against the Mariners, and then 3 against the Marlins.
No, 3 against the Mariners, because remember the Mariners was a 4-game series.
Oh, it's a 4-game series, right? You're right. So that's like 6. That's like 12 out of 15. 12 out of 16. That's great. I can't ask for anything else. So I think we've done great, and obviously, you know. And everybody can also point to the fact, like, oh, you're playing an easy schedule right now. Like, you play the games that you play, and you know, everybody has easy parts of their schedule. You gotta take advantage of it.
And that's the good thing is that yes, the Yankees did play 4 back-to-back easy teams, but
easy teams. Nothing's easy for this team.
But that's the thing. It's the Yankees. You know, they're gonna have to play these teams
Nothing
eventually.
is easy for us. We'll flip the White Sox and then lose to like the Orioles. We're like, really?
Yeah.
We'll get swept by Pittsburgh or Arizona, and we'll really.
Mm-hmm. But I was just gonna say just in general, like you said, like it's your schedule. You have to play them eventually. The important thing is that the Yankees got out of all 3 of those series with either a sweep or won the series in general. And in my book, in my opinion, that's all that matters. As long as you win series, like you said, if you never swept a single series, but you win every single series an entire season, who's going to complain about that? I'm not going to complain about it. I don't care.
About it.
So.
John Q. Public from Yankee Twitter will be like, "How dare they not sweep every series?
So
I want to win 162 games, sweep every series."
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the Royals game, and I think you know which one.
2 out of 3 is 108, so it's not a record. But go on, I'm wrong.
I would talk about one of the craziest games. The last time I can remember a game this crazy where it was back and forth was the Twins, whenever Aaron Hicks made that amazing catch to save the whole game. That's the last time I've seen a game this insane. I know a lot of people are like, well, this is a Mickey Mouse game because of the runner on second rule. And I'm like, I mean, I don't disagree with you on the rule. I don't like the rule, but at the same time, this game was crazy. Like, you have to admit and appreciate that this game was crazy, just to the bitter end from both teams. The Royals played very well, and the Yankees played very well as far as their offense concerned. Their bullpens were atrocious, terrible. So here's a bunch of stats that I decided to type up and list off. So that game against the Royals, That was the first game in MLB history in which both teams scored in the 7th, the 8th, the ninth, and 10th. It was also the Yankees also blew four saves, and ended up winning the game still, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the first time in history that anyone's ever done that. One run in the 7th, 8th, and ninth for both teams. 2 runs in the 10th for both teams, and then 3 runs for the Yankees and 1 run for the Royals in the 11th. Just a crazy display of offensive production from both teams. I think one of the other things that we should highlight about this is that Jameson Taillon, if there was one guy that went out and did his job, it was Jameson Taillon. I am so proud of him. He's done so well. He's bounced back like a lot of people didn't think he would. A lot of people were willing to give up on him because of his ERA was in the 5s, his FIP was in the 5s, but now he's down to a 3.82 ERA, 4.21 FIP. I definitely would like the FIP and the SIERA to be lower, but he's getting it done. 1.8 F4 and 113 innings. Jameson Taillon's doing great things. He seems to be a lot more comfortable. He's receiving a lot more time on the mound. He's going deeper into games, which I think also has to do with the fact of why he's performing so much better, as I think he's starting to have more confidence in the stuff to attack the zone and attack these hitters. And it proves in the amount, it proves in all the numbers that he's been displaying lately. I mean, time after time after time, 6 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings, 6 innings. He just goes deep into the games now, and now a lot of Yankee fans are starting to I guess what I'm trying to say is they're rethinking how they were thinking about him before. No longer are people thinking, oh, well, now it's a Taillon game. Now he's only going to go 2, 3, maybe 4 innings, and we're going to lose the game. Now people are like, I'm confident we're going to win this game because Taillon's going to go 6, 7 innings, and that's just amazing. I'm so happy and proud of Taillon that he's been able to basically do a full 180 and reverse the season on its head for his own game. That's made me really happy so far. Also, just considering the game in general, there's also some other things I wanted to point out. 14 different pitchers were used between the Royals and Yankees. That's insane. 1 out away from winning. Britton gives up a run to Lopez. Higgy sac fly, Gardner RBI single. 2 outs away from winning this time. Holmes gives up a sac fly and RBI single to Alberto. Then we go to the 11th, RBI from DJ, double. 2 runs scored off an error, the Brett Gardner. That hard hit ball that ended up going off the jaw of, I think it was Lopez too.
Yeah, he really got in front of that one.
And then Peralta gives up an RBI single, and I'm like, oh my lord! Like I just want to go to bed. I just want to go to bed. I've had enough of this showdown. It was like that
Cubs game from a couple years ago that went like 15 innings. It was an ESPN game. We were both up till 3 in the morning watching it. We're just like, oh my god, please, somebody lose.
And I wanted to talk to you about this because you mentioned it, and I'll give you your platform and your time to be able to talk about it because you want to talk about Odor at third. Well, that's the last thing I wanted to mention about this game, this crazy game of the year. Did you notice what happened the last out? It wasn't an easy out. It was a wicked ground ball bounce that could have definitely went over Odor's head. Like, that's how crazy this game was.
He
like,
tried
it could
to
have,
miss it.
like,
He really tried.
like that ground ball could have very easily gone past him, and the Royals could have scored and given them more life, like another chance to tie the game up. Like, game could have went on longer. So, give me your thoughts about Odor. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. What are your thoughts on Odor playing third?
I know we need somebody else at third base, but for the love of God, Tyler Wade came in today and looked like a monster, and he looks really good in the field. I'm sorry. He looks good in the field. He makes the plays he needs to play. Odor, for the lack of a better pun, he stinks at third base. I'm sorry. Every time the guy gets a ground ball, he has to triple clutch to aim to third. It's not like when I watch Gio, he just gets the ball and just throws it. Like, Odor's got to set up. He's got to get ready. Like, if anybody faster than, like, a pitcher hits the ground ball to him, there's no way they're getting out. He's probably going to throw the ball in the stands. Like, I had the same problem with Andujar, too. They're just like, clearly Odor's not used to the time it takes to throw the ball from third. He's clearly more on a clock of second base. And look, I give him a lot of credit. He's trying, but it's just, we had 7 errors in 2 games. I'm tired of it already. I'm sick and tired of it. Like, routine ground balls that we've gotten spoiled with ever since Gio came in. All of a sudden, have a guy at third that is essentially just like has his hands tied behind his back. Like, what's going on here? I can't take it. I appreciate him trying. However, we have a guy who can play third, and I think he did a really good job the last couple of games when he was at third. And I want to see Wade. Not to mention the fact that Wade's turned into Barry Bonds here in the month of August. But other than that, like I just want to see him instead of Odor. Like, if you want to keep Odor in the lineup, fine. DH him, put Stanton in the field, and call it a day. But just stop this putting Odor at third thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have any faith. It scares me when a ball gets hit to him. I have to hold my breath. Like, God. And also, it doesn't help that Rizzo's not in the lineup either, because Rizzo's like, don't worry, man, I got you. And now he's not there anymore. Now you have Luke Voit, who I think we all agree is not a great defensive first baseman. Okay? Like, let's be real here.
That's the thing I was going to talk to you about, is when everyone comes back healthy, I would not mind switching Luke Voit to DH, having Stanton play the field. Right. And then obviously having Gio move back to third, and Odor's not playing third, and then you have Rizzo back to first. I think that's perfect.
I think that Odor plays good defense at second. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in him at third. Like, I'll say, like, I'm okay with him at second, except for the shovel pass today. That was atrocious. I mean, seriously, I think a third grader could have figured that play out, but for some reason he couldn't do it, which sucks. Fortunately, Britton got out of it. As soon as that happens, I'm like, all right, that's it. 3-run home run. I'm buckled in right now. I'm tired of this. Like, just inject it into my veins. I'm ready. I'm ready for this to happen. But fortunately, it wasn't the case, and we got the ground ball. Hit to Wade, by the way, who turned the double play. Just saying.
It's just further points or further hypes up your agenda on the way.
It feels like we have 3 DHs playing the field right now. Is it just me? We have 3 DHs playing the field right now. You have Voit, Stanton, who actually, to be honest, he's looked pretty well in the field. He's looked pretty good in the field. He looks like he's not, struggling. It looks like he knows what he's doing, which is, it's a nice sight to see. And Odor is essentially a DH. Let's be real here. I mean, I don't think his defense's numbers are that great. Mm-hmm. He makes it look good, but I don't think his defensive numbers are that great.
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about Tyler Wade. Not necessarily his defense, more his offense. In the last
I'm sorry, you mean Barry Bonds?
I know it's a small sample size, but I mean, with Wade, I'll take anything that I can get. I have to give credit to Wade. I mean, 4 hits in the last 2 games, including 2 doubles from the last game.
He's batting .625 in August.
I mean, Wade's been doing well, and he's been running the bases really well. And like you said, he's had some good moments defensively. So I really can't harp on T Wade much as of recently. And I also want to talk about Gardner, because we did a podcast about this way before the season even started, and I said vividly, and I have no problem saying this, that I would have rather had signing Jock Peterson or going with someone else over re-signing Gardner, because I just didn't think he just didn't fit in here, not as far as his clubhouse presence, because obviously everybody loves him. He has a big clubhouse presence, and obviously that matters to some people to a certain degree. But as far as his defense was dwindling, his offensive numbers were dwindling, he's not as fast as he used to be, he's not as good as a base runner as he used to be, I just felt like the Yankees needed to throw in the towel, and either Gardner needed to retire or go play with another organization. But now I'm sitting here like, Gardner's really starting to put it together now. Like, there's things that I'd like to see from him. I've said this before, one of the redeeming qualities that Gardner has had, and this isn't just recently, this has been for most of the year, so if there's one thing that Gardner's done well, it's that he has a above league average BB percentage, so he's getting on base through walks a lot, which I appreciate a lot. Also, his OBP is above league average, which also I appreciate, because you know how much I love walks. And also in the month of August, I understand it's a small sample size, but I got to give credit to Gardner where it's due. 850 OPS. He's had some big hits. He had a walk-off hit. Then he's had some big hits in this Royals series. I mean, Gardner seems like he's really starting to come into his own. I understand it's a small sample size. Tomorrow, Gardner could completely fall off the train tracks and just go back to how he was. I think he's around like a 85, 84 WRC plus hitter right now. So he could very well just fall off the train tracks and go back to how he's been normally. But as someone who obviously has been very reluctant to give Gardner any credit, and someone who didn't want to re-sign Gardner, I got to give him credit. He's done well recently. He's had some big hits in the Royals series, walk-off, not too long ago too. He's done some good things in August so far, and I hope Gardner continues, because at the end of the day, as a Yankee fan, I would rather have a take that is atrociously bad and the team win a World Series or succeed than me be right about something and the team fail. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather be wrong and then the team succeed than the other way around. That just makes more sense to me. And I have no problem with being wrong. If Gardner wants to continue hitting like this for the rest of the season, I would love that. And I would love to be proven wrong. That would be awesome, because then that would mean the Yankees are probably having a better chance of succeeding, which I'm on board with, obviously, as a Yankee fan. And I mean, that's all. That's pretty much all. I just got to give Gardner some credit offensively and base running, and he's been doing his job recently, which I really do appreciate, especially with the walks.
It'll be interesting to see him play tomorrow in the Field of Dreams game, because I think he was around when the Field of Dreams was originally filmed back in 1848. So I mean, he should be right at home.
Wow, I wasn't going to do Gardner that hard.
I like Brett Gardner. He's been great for us this month, but he's always been a second half hitter, and if he's what we need the spark to be, I'd love to see it. Unfortunately, like you said you like him because of BB percent. Unfortunately, this team's Achilles heel is first and second, nobody out. It seems like when this team is first and second, nobody out, they just shut down. Like, there's literally nothing. So if you want to beat the Yankees, just walk two people and that's it. We're done. Can't score the run. Just we're either hitting double play or strike out or like hit like 3 weak ground balls, and I'm like, really, guys? Come on. Can anybody do anything? It's like first and second, nobody out. We are literally just the worst in that situation. I don't know why we just can't do it. If I need to hear John Sterling one more time, be like, see, there you go, Susan. All they have to do is get the runner over. And I'm like, just shut up, John. You get in the batter's box and you do it. I hate it. Every time. He's like, the Yankees don't score again. Oh, look at that. And I'm just like, yeah, thanks. Turning this off now. I don't know. There's two things he complains about. The Yankees not moving runners and, like, people striking out 20 times in a game. Like, that's the two things he complains about. And it's just irritating me. I don't know. Maybe somebody else can, like, attest to this as well, because I'm just sick of it.
The only thing I'm going to say about that is that a strikeout is 110% better than a double play.
Double play.
Any day of the week, it's much
better.
better.
Put the ball in play. Oh, wow. Imagine if they hit to the right side and, move the runner over. I'm just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not how this works.
Well, that's why I think it's so important for them to elevate the ball. And I've tweeted this out multiple times. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I always like to tweet out the league averages, not just league averages between players, but league averages on like things like grounders, bunts, things like that. Interestingly enough, when you bunt, you have a higher OPS than hitting a ground ball, which I find insane. And then the OPS basically doubles when you hit a pop-up, and then more than triples, almost quadruples when you hit a line drive. So it's very important that the Yankees lift the ball. This is why things like launch angle and hard contact matter. I understand bloop singles happen. I'm not saying that it's impossible to get a base hit when you hit the ball at 85, 90 miles per hour. It's possible. And if it happens, it happens. It's baseball. That's why baseball is such a great and weird sport at the same time. Things like this happen that don't happen in any other sport. But the thing is, you're giving yourself much better chances of winning and putting up runs and getting production out of your offense when you're not only hitting the ball as hard as possible, like Stanton, or you're also elevating the ball. And here's the thing. Can you guess on this team right now, who has the highest WRC plus or highest OPS for that matter? Either stat, doesn't matter. Who has the highest OPS / WRC plus when hitting a grounder?
Tyler Wade?
No.
Is it someone who's on the active roster right now?
Yes.
Is it Brett Gardner?
No.
Oh.
It is Giancarlo Stanton. And do you know why?
That's because he hits the ball 3,000 miles an
exactly.
hour.
That's why exit velocity matters, because when you're hitting the ball as hard as Giancarlo Stanton is, it's hard for fielders to get that kind of ball because it's going so fast. That's why. And that's that.
122 mile an hour grounder for double play the other day.
I get it, but it proves my point that it proves my point that even someone like Giancarlo Stanton, who's hitting the ball super hard, you can't just hit grounders. That's not going to be the success story.
He hit a ground ball 122 miles an hour for a double play, and it had expected batting average of 590. And I'm like, wow, that's insane. And like just thinking about that is insane. Like that, he should be hitting about 600 on that hit, and just got unlucky. Can't name it. Can't name it, Susan. You just got to hit it.
But that's the whole point. It's the Yankees just need to be better about not giving in to balls that are low in the dirt, especially sinkers that they're just literally hitting off in the dirt, fouling off in the dirt nonstop, especially someone with DJ LeMahieu. Now, to be fair, DJ has been better as of late. I've seen a lot of elevation from him.
DJ has been racking up multi-hit games recently. He's looking good.
But I think you would agree with me that this team needs to elevate the ball. They need to hit the ball hard and they need to elevate it. I'm not even just saying that they need to hit line drives, because if you look at someone like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I know Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been insane this year, but if you look at someone like him, he has a higher WRC plus when hitting a fly ball than he does a line drive. So
they
it's
gotta
like
go to the Mark Teixeira school of elevating the baseball.
Exactly. So even if they're hitting fly balls, I'm much more comfortable with that. I mean, if that's the thing, that I guess that this is the middle ground I think everyone can agree on. People don't like strikeouts, they want contact, but then the double plays happen, they don't like double plays. Just elevate the ball. If people want contact, hit the ball into the air. If it's a fly out, at least you made contact with the ball. I would rather this team lose on 1,000 fly balls to the warning track than strikeouts and then mostly double plays, because obviously I'm not too big on the strikeouts. You know me. Someone like Gallo is more productive than the majority of the league, or someone like Judge or Stanton more productive than the majority of the league in their career, even when they strike out as much as they do. But still, I would rather see fly balls out to the warning track caught by outfielders from the opposing team over them just striking out 1,000 times or hitting into double plays 1,000 times. I think everyone can agree that that's kind of the median where we can go, where it can be like, okay, well, they're just getting unlucky. There's nothing we can really do because they're elevating the ball, they're hitting the ball hard, they're doing what they need to do. Eventually the results will come in.
I mean, we play in a stadium where it benefits people to put the ball in the air. That's the facts about it. You know, you put the ball in the air and things can happen. Just look at Odor hitting that home run against the Mariners that snuck over the wall, which, by the way, Seattle's announcers are hilarious, by the way. To get mad. It's like, oh, it's Yankee Stadium home run, and then, like, Seager hits a Yankee Stadium home run, and they're just like, oh, we gotta take advantage of the field dimensions. And I'm like, you can't have it both ways. That's not how this works.
Mm-hmm. It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because Odor's home run had an expected batting average of 0.30.
30,
and
yeah.
Seager's was 0.20, which is less.
I was like, really? You guys cannot be serious. Like, you can't be like, oh, they basically were like, that's baseball, Susan. And then they came back and were just like, that sucks. The stadium's terrible. I'm like, no, you can't. The series was literally nothing but porch jobs. It was just porch jobs. Porch job, porch job, porch job. I think that front row got worn out that series. It was just Kalanick hit one, and then Seager hit like two, and then Odor hit one, and Gallo hit one. I'm like, what is going on here? Come on, people.
Yeah, I saw
lefty paradise that series.
I saw someone tweet this out, and I think you would also agree with it, but it was like a sarcastic tone, obviously. But they were like, it's so funny that every team that plays and loses to the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, they always complain about the short porch, and it's like, it's hilarious how the fences, the dimensions magically move backwards 40 feet whenever the opposing team is hitting.
We push the fences back when the opponent team is up at the plate. Of course, exactly.
It kills me. It's like, if you really hate the short porch, then either go to your own ballpark and shorten the dimensions, or take advantage of the short porch when you're playing the Yankees. It's not that difficult.
Put all the lefties in the lineup when you're playing the Yankees. That's for damn sure.
So the last I wanted to talk about one last thing, and it's the injuries. Obviously, Sanchez is going to be back August 15th. Chapman, Cole, and Monty August 17th. Rizzo and Severino. I'm very excited about Severino's returns. Expected to be out until August 18th. Herman and Torres expected to be out until August 19th. And then Holmes and Urshela expected to be out until August 20th. So I think the last thing that I want to talk about in this podcast, to wrap it all up, is to say that at the end of the day, the Yankees are doing very well in the position that they're at. They've won 5 series, which I cannot complain about. 5 series in a row. And including, obviously, a sweep, which a lot of people just complain and apparently think that winning a series doesn't count. You have to sweep, which is ridiculous. And then we obviously won the series at the Trop, which is huge. The season series in general at the Trop, which is huge for the Yankees. But also just to say, Yankees at this point, just keep trying to win series, keep trying to do what you can do with your lineup and get healthy. And I think once this team is healthy, assuming they get healthy, because we always know what happens with the Yankees, especially as of 2019, this team just loves to be injured or loves something to happen out of nowhere. People say this team's made out of glass left and right. I could go on and on, but I think the main focus is just keep playing how you can. Just keep trying to scrap away for wins. Keep winning series. You don't have to sweep. I'll take sweeps, but as long as you keep winning series, that's all I'm gonna, that's all that I really care about. Keep chipping away at the wild card spot. I know a lot of people are saying the division is out of reach, but honestly, nothing in the sport of baseball is out of reach. I'm not counting out the Yankees out of winning the AL East until the last game against the Rays on October 3rd is finished. Anything's possible at this point. They've just got to keep winning and then obviously get healthy. That's the big thing, because if this team can get healthy and stay healthy for the remaining months of the season until the playoffs, assuming that they make the playoffs, which I think that they will, in my opinion, they'll at least make a push to the wild card, then I think the Yankees have a pretty good chance of going deep in the playoffs, if not maybe winning the World Series. I don't know. What's your opinion on it?
I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, I'm excited that we're going to get our pitchers back, and obviously people are going to start getting healthier, but like, do we have the depth that we need to go deep in the playoffs? I mean, I don't know if we do or don't. I don't know. It's going to be tough. I feel like for some reason this year is a lot tougher than any other year. Just looking at the teams that exist in the playoffs right now. You know what I mean? Like, it looks really difficult. You got to somehow find a way to get past Max Scherzer or the Dodgers, and then you got to figure out a way to get past the White Sox, and then there's the Brewers in the NL who seem to have a Cy Young rotation over there as well. I mean, like, it seems like a lot of really good teams this year for, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a couple years ago, it was really just, like, much easier. It was much more clarity. You kind of knew who the real teams were. This year, there's, like, I feel like it's up for grabs for anybody. I mean, I don't know.
I like that you mentioned the Brewers, because I think a lot of people are asleep on the Brewers, especially when they have a guy like Willie Adames that's literally the clutchest hitter I've ever seen. Apparently, like he's tying the game up left and right. He's hitting game tying home runs with game time RBIs, go ahead home runs, go ahead RBIs. I mean, he's been a godsend for the Brewers. And then obviously with a rotation just consisting of Woodruff and Burns alone is just terrifying, especially in a 3-game series or 5-game series or whatever it would be, 1-game series. I mean, especially if the Brewers, like, if they were. They're obviously going to win the division. I don't see anyone else going to win the division. I think the Reds could be a very compelling argument. I do like the Reds, although I think, if anything, the Reds will be a wild card team if the Padres keep slacking and playing how they are, because they've been kind of hitting a speed bump lately. But I really do like the Brewers. I mean, they've got a really good chance to go far. Obviously, the Giants are a good team. I know that a lot of people are saying the Giants are lucky, but a lot of people aren't taking consideration that San Francisco is not an easy ballpark to slug at, and they're slugging left and right, and they're beating good teams when they need to do, and their pitching is very good. Their starting pitching is very good, especially with Kevin Gausman leading them. Dodgers obviously has a good chance. I don't know. You might call me too cocky, but I think if the Yankees can stay healthy, with the fact that postseason baseball, everything is so unpredictable and anything can happen, I just think it's a matter of time before the Yankees finally break that curse or that hump of not being able to make it to the World Series, getting stopped at the ALCS, getting stopped at the ALDS. I think only a matter of time. They're going to eventually go to the World Series and eventually win it one of these days, and I think that they could possibly do it this year. I know that it won't be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's not going to be a slap in the face to the Dodgers or whatever team they face if they do make it. They're not going to steamroll a team like Boston. They're not going to steamroll a team like the Rays. If they do make it, and if they did hypothetically win, it's going to be close. But I think the Yankees have a good chance of doing it. I'm never going to give up on this team. I have a lot of faith in this team that they can do
I have faith that we can. I know that if we don't win the division and we get to a wild card, I have faith that I like our odds in a game where Garrett Cole starts the game. I like that. I feel like we have a good chance in a game that Garrett Cole starts. However, it's just that once you get past that game and you have to play the other people, like, I imagine the top seed in the AL is probably going to be the White Sox. I mean, that's, again, a really tough order. They play really well. I mean, just saying, like, this is just a hypothetical, like, no matter what, when you get to the playoffs this year, I feel like it's going to be a very difficult road no matter what team you are. The teams that come out of the AL and the NL, we know for a fact they're going to be a great series. Whoever they may be, I think it's going to be a great series.
This postseason is going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going
to be a lot of long series, and it's going to be a lot of very close games, I think. It feels like there was an arms race in terms of Like this trade deadline was extreme.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the this might be the greatest trade deadline I've ever seen in my lifetime, if not one of the greatest. Probably the greatest, if I'm not mistaken. Especially just alone with the Scherzer and Trey Turner deal. I mean, that alone was just mind blowing. Did not expect that.
I know, it was ridiculous. I'm excited to get Garrett Cole and Montgomery back, obviously. I'm excited to see Severino, who, by the way, did you notice that Severino pitched 4 perfect innings in a game that they threw a combined no-hitter? The first one in their history. Combined no-hitter. The only reason it was not a perfect game was basically because of one really dubious walk. Like, the pitching staff down there, even without the people who we brought up, like Heel and now Krisky, and obviously no Steven Ridings, and you know what happened? They took Albert Abreu out of there, and they took Nelson out, so that's why they pitched a no-hitter. But no, I'm just kidding. But that's crazy. I mean, Severino, 4 perfect innings. I mean, he looks like he's doing pretty well in Double-A. I'm excited to see him come back. Obviously, Corey Kluber as well. Going to be some good, important people coming back at the right time, because they're going to be joining a team that's just trending upward, which is really important. You know, hopefully they hit the ground running and they can catch up to speed with everybody else. I mean, I'm excited to see what we can do when we actually get some real reinforcements in here. And I know everyone's going to be like, oh, you're going to ruin the chemistry of the team. Like, I'm not concerned about that. I was never concerned about that last year when we dealt with the injuries coming back, and the year before that, and we did just fine. So, not worried about that. People be like, you're ruining the chemistry of the team. You know, they run steal bases and they play a different kind of baseball. I'm not concerned.
And,
me personally.
And actually, that's I'm glad that you mentioned 2 of those names, because I would feel terrible about myself as a Yankee fan if I didn't mention them before the end of the podcast. So this will be the last subject that we talk about.
We just came up with it right now.
And very briefly, because you had to mention it, which thank you for mentioning it.
Because all I do is mention things. You know, these ideas just come into my head randomly, you know.
I just
I'm going through Twitter right now. I see Colin Montgomery.
Well, I just wanted to say, Writings, absolutely filthy, and Heel, I mean, I could not have asked any more from Heel in his last 2 starts. 10 scoreless innings. Wonderful.
Guy throws a 93-mile-an-hour changeup. Like, what even is that? Look, if you're watching Heel and he throws a 93-mile-an-hour sinker, it's not a sinker. It's a changeup. He throws it like it's like a circle change. It's not a sinker. It just has sinker action. It's 93 miles an hour. Statcast has it wrong. It is literally a changeup. How do you do that? I mean, first off, one problem is when you throw a changeup that hard, is there enough separation? Apparently the answer is yes, but I would be kind of worried about that, might be personally. But Heel's been tremendous. I mean, 11 shutout innings. Just a godsend. I mean, I've been hearing things about him forever now. I'm glad he can come up and find the control he's needed to find. I know he's been a little shaky in the minors. I'm excited to see him come up. Still no idea where Davey Garcia is right now. He seems to be in witness protection. But the good news is Clark Schmidt just started a rehab assignment today. So hopefully we'll see him come up before September. I'm praying he finds a way back to this team at some point. Before the season's up. It'd be nice to see him just be there as reinforcements. But, you know. Oh, and also the funny thing about Steven Ridings is he was literally a substitute teacher.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some kid out there who's like, I'm pretty sure that's my chemistry teacher throwing cheese on the mound. throwing 101 miles an hour in his first major league start.
I was about to say, Higashioka actually said in an interview, he was like, yeah, he's a substitute teacher. And he's like, what kind of substitute teacher throws triple digits?
He's a chemistry teacher, and this guy's throwing gas on the biggest stage in the state. It's incredible. I love stories like that. You know what I mean? It's like the guy thought he was done. He comes back, and someone's like, that guy looks pretty good. Let's give him a shot. Same thing with Loizaga. I'm not going to draw this out, but you know he was a free agent signing after Tommy John, and you know he's been incredible, like more than anyone could have asked.
Yeah, exactly. I could go on and on about Loizaga because I'm a part of the Loizaga fan club.
I love my Johnny Lasagna. You know, it's al dente every day.
But that's about it, ladies and gentlemen, for the podcast. We did quite a bit covered quite a bit of topics. I mean, we kind of had to since we haven't done a podcast in a while. But if you guys did enjoy, definitely make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification so you don't miss a video. Like, comment down below, and I will see you guys later.